Dr. Lisa Melton. I'm Head of Research at the Sanfilippo Children's Foundation. I did a degree in biochemistry and physiology at the University of Sheffield in the UK, and then neuroscience was really my passion when I was going through those courses, and so I chose to do a PhD on Alzheimer's disease, looking at inflammation in the brain in Alzheimer's disease at the University of Newcastle upon Tyne. And then I followed that up with a couple of postdocs in London looking at neurodegeneration and regeneration of the nervous system. When I was working in my postdocs, I began to realise that the lab bench wasn't really where I wanted to be. I was losing track a little bit of why I was there and what my passion was. I knew I still loved science, so my husband and I decided at that point we were travelling, we were going to move to Australia for a couple of years, which turned into 20 odd years, still here. And at that point I thought that would be a good time to try something different. So I moved into working at a research institute still, but as their science communications officer. So I spent my time writing and talking about the research that was going on at the institute. I worked with the researchers to help them apply for philanthropic grants, anything that required a degree of translation from science jargon into English, plain English, was part of my role in there. And I worked there for 11 years, and then later on I went to work at MS Research Australia as the head of research there, where I was looking after the research programs, the research grants, collaborating with researchers on large national collaborative platforms. I also worked for a while at UNSW as an institute manager for a virtual institute looking at ageing, getting researchers to work across disciplines, across the university, looking at different aspects of ageing and different ways of researching ageing, combining different expertise. And then in the last couple of years I've moved here to Sanfilippo Children's Foundation, where I look after the research program again. We run a grant round for researchers, a competitive grant round, and we collaborate with researchers, and we collaborate with other patient organisations around the world to try and drive the research focus, drive research, raise awareness, and get more focus onto this disease, which is quite a rare condition that affects children. Sanfilippo syndrome is a condition that affects children. It's a rare condition. It's caused by a genetic change that means that they lack an enzyme that breaks down a waste product in the body. So this waste product builds up. It builds up all around the body, but it is particularly damaging in the brain. So these children usually picked up first of all with a speech delay or a motor delay. They go on to have severe behavioural symptoms, sleep issues, hyperactivity, and their development will stall, and ultimately they will start to lose all the skills that they have gained. They'll lose the ability to speak, to walk, their mobility declines. So it's really like a childhood dementia. It's a version of dementia but in children. And they generally only survive on average into their late teens, early 20s. There are different forms of the disease. Some live a lot longer, but it's a fatal neurodegenerative condition, and it's really has been neglected in terms of research because it is quite rare. But there are researchers around the world working on the condition. There are some treatments being developed that are showing promise. So it's really quite an exciting time to be working on the condition and working with the families, working with the researchers to see what more research we can drive and what we can look at to move things forward and get more treatments available, to get at any treatments available for this condition. I feel like I've come quite sort of full circle in my career in terms of the passion that I have for neuroscience, and where I started looking at inflammation in the brain in Alzheimer's disease, and I've come all the way around to now working on a childhood neurodegenerative disease which has a lot in common with dementia. So I'm really excited by neuroscience. I really like continuing to learn about the science, but combining that with working with families, working with patients to drive research forward so that it actually keeps moving forward to make a difference for families. There's a lot of curiosity, and there's lots to learn, and there's a lot of rabbit holes to go down in terms of research, but to keep making sure that those discoveries are moved on to the next phase so that families are going to get the impact from that in the end. That's really what my passion is, and I think that the skills that I've acquired along the way and all the different roles that I've had, and my background in working in research allows me to work collaboratively with researchers and families to do that. And I think that's what gives me energy and gets me up in the morning to make sure that the science is moving forward and finding those treatments and working towards treatments for families. I have 2 teenage children. They keep me busy, but they tend to ignore me a bit more now, so I've got a bit more freedom to follow other things. I enjoy bushwalking, I love reading, I love being in the ocean, swimming generally, but swimming in the ocean is particularly great. So obviously living in Australia, that's a great place to be for that. And just spending time with my family and travelling overseas as well, and travelling back to the UK to be with my family in the UK, all things that make me happy.